Thistle and Verse here, and today I'm announcing my TBR for KABOOMathon. KABOOMathon is a comic book and graphic novel readathon. It is running for the first week of December, and it's hosted by Reading with Nori and Chapter Kate. I will put their links in the description box. And I'm trying to do a couple of readathons this month. I have a goal for this year that I want to finish reading all the books I've purchased and haven't gotten to reading yet, and things are looking grim because it's about 20 some books and I don't read that quickly. But I'm hoping that with some readathons I will be motivated to kind of power through and meet my goal for the year. So, on to the TBR. First up is Adorned by Chi by Jacque Aye. It is about these 4 Nigerian girls and a Nigerian boy. They're in college and they each sort of have a patron deity, from what I understand, who gives them magical powers, and with these powers they go out and fight monsters because, why not? What else are you going to do with them? Next up is Malika Warrior Queen by Roye Okupe. I was generously gifted an e-version of this book by Gaming Anichka, whose Twitter I will link in the description box below. This is a historical fantasy set in 15th century West Africa. It follows the titular character Mallika as she fights to create an empire, and I was planning to count this towards the From Another Time section. So on to the physical copies. I meant to mention, I'm kind of nicknaming this KABOOMathon Abridged just because I have a lot of single issues of comics to get through. I don't really buy graphic novels like that. And a single issue of a comic is basically a chapter of a graphic novel, so KABOOMathon Abridged. Anyway, after that explanation, next one up is b.b.free by Gabby Rivera and illustrated by Royal Dunlap. b.b.free is about a post-apocalyptic Earth. There is a sickness that went around called, I think it was either the disease that ate greed or the plague that ate greed. And somehow it only infected rich people, from what I understand, or mostly infected rich people, and so they all died, and there was a big environmental collapse as well going on. And this is the aftermath of that. It follows the main character Bibi, who I think lives in Florida in a very small community. It's very tight knit, and she has this radio show, and one day she decides she kind of has to leave because her family is very overbearing and very protective, and that's the premise of the book. I'm going to count this one for LGBTQ plus rep and illness/disability rep. I don't know where any of the characters fall in the LGBTQ plus acronym, but the author Gabby Rivera said that this was supposed to be a love letter for queer teens, so I'm assuming that there's going to be one, if not multiple. And for illness and disability rep, there is a character who I will see if I can find their picture, but one of BB's friends uses a wheelchair. Let me see if I can get that in focus. Right there. I'm sorry. I'm very bad at maneuvering on the camera. So then we have Far Sector by N K Jemisin. This is about a Green Lantern who was stationed in sort of this little rock on the edge of the universe. It's kind of the middle of nowhere. The Green Lantern in question, I want to say her name is Sojourner, but she's an ex-NYPD cop, and this is a society that has outlawed or gotten rid of somehow emotion, and somehow that leads to very low or no crime. And all of a sudden there's a spate of murders and crimes, and she has to figure out what's going on. I wasn't thrilled by the plot. That sounds kind of tropey to me, and it's been done a bajillion times, but I really like N K Jemisin's writing, and I trust her to do something very interesting with this. I haven't read or really followed any of the other Green Lanterns. I watched Justice League Unlimited. I know there's a Green Lantern there, but I'm completely blanking on his name. And I was going to count this for This Just In because it just dropped last month. And then next up is House of Whispers by Nalo Hopkinson. House of Whispers is about the goddess Erzulie, and sort of the first arc was that she had lived in this divine realm. She just kind of been kicked out of it for reasons that she didn't really understand. And she was losing power, her personality was becoming unstable, and she was like switching between different iterations of herself. And trying to get back, and while this is going on, there's also like this disease from the divine realm that's affecting life on Earth, and then she's trying to stop that. And that arc has finished a couple issues ago, and right now she's kind of like living in the aftermath of that and sort of like dealing with like the loss that occurred during that arc. I'm counting this one for non-human main character because Erzulie is a goddess, goddesses are human, non-human main character. And also LGBTQ plus rep. I'm not sure what is going on in this issue. There's this like creepy guy who like lives in nightmares called the Corinthian, and he's just like kind of skulking around up to questionable or dubious things. Erzulie possesses a cat for reasons I don't know just yet. But in the last issue, there was like a big, wonderful lesbian love moment, and I'm assuming that storyline is going to be continued here. So that's that. And then there is Livewire by Vita Ayala. Livewire is set in a universe kind of similar to the X-Men, like there are people with powers, and you know, there's government and civilian entities who really don't like them and just like are trying to incarcerate them and strip them of their civil liberties. There's like a mutant group who's like, we're superior to humans, we should rule them. There are mutants that are just kind of like, I just want to like assimilate and I just don't really want to talk about this. And it follows Livewire, who has the ability to control technology. And sort of what kicked off the series is that she had switched off electricity for all the United States in response to like some actions that the U.S. government was taking, and she had been declared a domestic terrorist. And in this arc, she's kind of going on like a political / image like rehabilitation tour. A politician reached out to her saying that like, you know, he really cares about mutants and he wants to, you know, sort of champion their issues, and he kind of wants to use her as sort of like a poster child or like an icon in some ways, and like to show that they're like not that scary. And she agrees, and like there are signs that this politician isn't trustworthy, and that's kind of where this arc is right now. And also, I got lucky and y'all signed it. It makes me happy. And I'm counting this one for political undertones. It's not really even undertones, it's like overtones. It's very just there. It's about like questions of civil disobedience and the law and civil rights. And last one is Wakanda Forever by Nnedi Okorafor. It follows 3 of the Dora Milaje, Okoye, Ayo, and Nneka. If you read World of Wakanda, that mini-series, I think it was supposed to be a full-length series and it got canceled by Roxane Gay. This one. Ayo and Nneka were the main characters of that, and so it looks like they reappear here. And from what I can tell, you know, Okoye, Ayo, and Nneka were sort of like sent off to like deal with something that King T'Challa is too busy to deal with. And they're in New York and they run into Spider-Man, and so hijinks and collaborations ensue. And I'm using this one to the library because, as you can tell by the barcode, I got it from the library. Yes. So that was everything. Marvel vs. DC. I usually have more of them. I usually have like a couple more hero comics going on, but they just didn't come in that month for whatever reason. So, I mean, for DC, I've got House of Whispers and Far Sector, and for Marvel, I have Wakanda Forever. Racial diversity was basically a free space for me. You probably noticed all of the comics I held up. All of them except for b.b.free have black main characters. b.b.free, I believe the main character, Bibi, is Puerto Rican. And her friend who was using the wheelchair is Black, if I remember correctly. And then next in a series, again, that was kind of a free space for me. A lot of these, well, half of them, you know, Livewire and House of Whispers, I've been following for a little bit now, so these are just the latest installments of that. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you want to keep up to date with me, please subscribe. Also, I'm on Twitter and Goodreads. I'm a little more active over there, so if you want to interact with me more, Twitter and Goodreads are a good place. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.